and you know that you then, oh, we're live, here we are, woo! Sound like WSO, website 1, Hangout, pair programming, perhaps. It's, let's see. So, and you know that you've got control of what gets broadcast, right? So if you know, your little square boxes with, at the bottom, which is one of which is Michael, and the other one that says Samuel, or says you, and just Sam, whatever it says. So if you lock onto one of those, that'll be what gets broadcast. And if you leave it not locked and it jumps backwards and forwards between the, using that audio switching thing they do, then that's what the video will end up being. But I guess, did you know all that already?
No, I didn't know that would. I would do that myself when we were when I joined like the stand-ups, but I didn't realize that actually controls the broadcast if you're the broadcaster.
Yes, it does. I think it's one of the things that's not necessarily counterintuitive, but it's not obvious. And so a lot of people, when they broadcast for the first time, you can have people, you know, they're basically, you know, they're working, one person sharing the screen. You can have half an hour of conversation, detailed conversation about that code, and you have the picture of the other person or just their icon or what have you. And it means that it's you get a lot of videos that where you would love to be seeing the code that they're working on, but you can't. Or you can, like, it's there, it's very small, magnifying glass. Anyway, yes. So here we are. Yeah. Wow. And I think you've already generated like 3 new tickets this morning, related which is great, because I think there are all of these issues which like all need to be fixed. Shall we? Do you want to? Shall I be a ticket master and make some? Well, whatever. Let's, you know. Shall I be? I make these tickets as you remind me what they are. Does that sound like a place to start? Just let's make sure that we've got those. I'm always forever worried about not recording these things properly, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So, that's the last email that's gone out. Website 1, right? So you were just mentioning, yeah. So as I mean, you came in through. So you just, like, in terms of starting the Hangout from here. I mean, we can have a whole separate conversation about whether people should be starting the Hangout from there. But the comment that you just had was not about starting from this page, which presumably went okay.
Right. It was from the.
It's from like the event page. So if one is on an event, in the existing system, then like you were going to say what you were saying there, that
See, when you hover over it, it's like you can click on it to start it.
Right, but then
that was my assumption. I didn't. It wasn't exactly intuitive. I realize it says start Hangout now down at the bottom, but it doesn't. That didn't actually. When I looked at the page, that my eyes weren't drawn to that.
No, absolutely.
My eyes were drawn to the not live yet, and then when I hovered over it, it was like I could click on it, and it seemed like I should just be able to click on it to start it.
Yes. So what we can do there is we can add. I always feel like we want a separate thing for this is like event show page. I mean, the interesting thing, of course, to look at is that. Well, let's put this in an event page. Someone's like not yet live. Is too prominent. On show page. So was confused by where to start Hangout since eyes drawn to not yet live, which seems difficult, which is a problem. Okay, so put that in there, and it makes it. I must have it. I think what we want is there's bug. I think there's another. We've got another thing. That's the wrong thing. Website 1. Issues. Always slightly more complex to create labels than I want to. So we've got bug. There is red. Let's have a UX bug.
Can you not just type any label into the labels field, and it'll just automatically create it?
No. That would be, you know, I think they maybe intentionally involve that. But so, for example, here, if you have labels here, you can only select from the list. You can't just, if I could just say I want a banana, it won't find it.
If you hit enter, it doesn't just add it?
I don't think so. Let's have a look.
Oh, okay.
That has been my impression. I mean, and whether that is a bug or a feature depends on your point of view, because, you know, you may say you don't want your team just making lots of mistyped.
I think you
things.
used to be able to just type in a label, and they must. I think they changed it.
They may have done. They may have done. Yes. So was there another thing?
The other one I had when I immediately came in,
yes,
was if you log out and you go over to that event page.
Oh yes, the
me,
new, yes, I remember now. But carry on. Yes.
I mean, I would still have the create event and then just ask them to log in.
Yeah, absolutely.
It took me a second to realize. I'm like, wait, where's the create button?
Yeah.
And I'm not logged in.
Available for logged out users, but redirects. This it can cause a moment of fusion. Yeah.
I mean, they all seem silly. Like, oh, you should just know that, but.
Well, I think that's the, you know, that is so deep, right? That's the core of creating a usable system, right? Because it's this thing that there are so many things that once you know them, you can sort of do it, and a lot of people can get by in a system because that, like the edX system, their studio thing for editing the courses, I now find it relatively comfortable to use because I'm so familiar with it. But I think it's well, maybe it's still better than Blackboard, but it's kind of it's a bit of a nightmare, I think, for the new users in terms of you know, intuitive, you know, their intuition. I mean, and then you can have these huge arguments about what is intuitive, and people get used to different systems and they develop their own intuitions in different directions and so on. But I think from my point of view, I think the key point, or the key thing, is being able to get these kinds of issues recorded and then reviewed, and then, you know, it's so I think they're very, you know, serious. They're worth paying attention to. Yes. Okay. So great. We've got a couple of issues in there. So, oh yes. Shall we just we'll have a little look at. Yeah. So I ended up working on this morning, and yeah. Now, what I wonder is, like, you know, I'm pleased to have made some progress. You know, I'm not a CSS guru by any stretch of imagination. Just trying to, you know, get a few more things on the page, like use the real estate more effectively. Do you want to pull this branch down to your machine locally and run it so that we can see it for you running in the different time zone?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's do you want to share your screen as well?
Yeah. Let me get my VM and stuff started.
That makes me want to search for Cloud9 templates. What's those templates? Build your own. Fork the repository. what I would say is I would do the screen. It's interesting because you're kind of doing this thing that some people do, which is like, oh, I'll just get stuff ready for you before I start screen sharing, which seems like, yeah, because why would I show you anything before I start screen sharing? But if you start
The
screen sharing
problem is
now,
I can't share a whole window because my resolution's too high. So I actually have to get the program started so I can only present
that's
the
interesting.
actual program. Otherwise, you
Really?
wouldn't be able to see anything.
You think so? I've got some very big screens here. I would just try sharing the whole desktop.
It well, I can show you what it would look like if I did that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. Yeah, cool. I'm very happy for you to share that.
I mean, that's normally how I work like this.
Yeah, cool. I've got a very big monitor here that I can pull that onto, and I have, and you can carry on working like that.
The thing that I found when I was doing like my own little screen share is that YouTube couldn't keep up with the resolution and it was pixelated, but I don't.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, maybe. Well, and I think that's interesting. You know, kind of issue there in terms of should we be, you know, optimizing for the screen recording versus us making progress with it. Yeah.
So let me go into Ruby mine. I can show you what I have on the before I switch branches. I can show you what I have on this create with time zone thing.
Oh, that's the thing you're working on, right.
See if you have any thoughts on it.
Sure. So you logging in there with Google Plus?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's see. I had a ticket on here.
You had an event on
that there should be a actually. This is a bug, I think, on this particular. I don't. It might just be because this is an old. Actually, what version of Firefox is this? This is 25. That's an old. I think it's just because it's an old version. See how it jumps all the way over here?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at the moment, I don't know what use people are getting so much from the other event endpoints. You know, I think there would be an argument for just events to go to a single page rather than having those, drop downs. So, so what you could be doing while that's loading is in the background in your terminal, you could do git fetch, git fetch upstream, and that would. So I would do it like a command T there to like open, or control T to create, and then just do git fetch upstream, and then that can sort of pull that down in parallel while I don't know what's happening. I guess it's trying to load your local events page.
Yeah, it seems.
I have noticed that gets stuck once or twice in my work on this morning, and I killed the server and refreshed the page. You could just hit reload there maybe in the browser.
Seems to be stuck. There we go. Okay, so we have this. So this is what I have right now.
Okay.
I actually have this machine turned to, I think it's on mountain time right now, just from what I was testing.
Sure.
You can see these are gone. That was how I found that Thomas had accidentally overwritten that. But yeah, I mean, it has a start time and it has this time zone drop down, and this is automatically selected according to my browser. Now, I'm not in Arizona. The way this code works, and I don't think there's a way around it, is it just kind of looks at the GMT.
Right, and it selects the first one. Fair enough.
And it selects the first one.
I've experienced that on other sites. I think that's not. It's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could add some code to prefer like these, because most people aren't going to be Arizona. Like they're coming in from mountain, they're getting actual mountain time. Granted, that would only apply to the United States, and we'd need input from all the other ones. I mean,
I think that's exactly the kind of thing that, that could be a follow-up feature. Let's get the simple one done and then get that out.
Now, what I didn't know, or what I don't know how Rails handles it is, say I change this date, because right now I think I think we're in daylight savings time. I don't know what in the world we are. I never know. I'm just at whatever time my clock says. But if I change it to a date where daylight savings time is changed, but this is still going to say GMT -7 Arizona. I'm just not sure exactly how Rails is going to handle this. If Rails is smart enough to realize that actually it's not GMT -7 anymore, you have to look at the Arizona time zone. That time zone's coming from Rails. They actually have a time zone form helper. So it might be smart enough. That was what I needed to kind of spike on and figure out what in the world it's going to do. And the other option is just not to worry about it. I mean, we're talking 2 times a year that's going to happen. Does it really matter?
Yeah, well, I think that's the interesting thing. We'll see how many people fall foul of it, and I think it's the kind of thing that at the moment with the start time in UTC, I think that like the current people saying, right, okay, I'm gonna create an event. Oh, UTC, what's UTC? Oh, I'm in, and I can't. I think we lose more people from requiring them to input their start time in UTC than we will for people who get upset on those few occasions where perhaps that thing, which might be a problem, might occur. So it seems to me, eminently sensible to get out a version that allows them to put in the start time in their own time zone, and then we worry about that as a bug later on, or we investigate it if we're so interested. But I think it's really important to granularize the work, if you know what I mean, to get little chunks.
If you want, we can if you want to just, if this looks okay, we can.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say there is we've got it says start time in UTC, which I guess you're planning. Right.
But there's no back-end code to actually handle this right now.
No,
that's not a big deal.
When you say back-end code to handle it, I'm not sure what you mean.
If I do this, nothing's going to it's still going to create it in UTC. I have nothing.
Oh, okay, that's just doing the selector. It's not going to create it. It's still going to create it in UTC.
It's going to submit the time zone information on the form.
Okay.
But I don't have any. We need to add the code to actually go grab that and add it to the date.
Yeah. That sounds good.
But I don't think that's a huge deal. It's going to be more of a huge deal trying to. Actually, I don't think it'll break any test, to be honest.
Well, let's see. We should do it and see. Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing. I could have. I mean, I was worrying yesterday about how much trouble I get in doing this, refactoring this morning, and actually it wasn't such a big deal. And I think sometimes, you just do it and see, and it's easy to back out if there are big problems.
For yours, as long as you keep the CSS selectors, it shouldn't break too much.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so do you want to? Yeah. I mean, that looks great from my point of view. Did you want to switch to my branch and let's see what it all looks like on your machine?
Okay. Let me stop this server. I don't know how it's going to react to switching branches. Does it react okay to switching branches while it's up? I assume not.
Well, so have you got any thing that you haven't committed to Git on that branch? So if you
Yes.
yes, so if you go go back to your terminal, I would say, assuming
I've
that
got 3 of them right here.
yeah. So I mean, you either want to commit those or stash them if you're going to switch to another branch.
Eventually, I need to figure out how to get that database thing fixed.
Hmm.
Uh,
Are you also committing that onto your local branch or so on your local developer, or did you create a branch for them to be committed onto?
this is a branch.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So I fetched upstream. Let's see.
The thing is that you, what I know is in your terminal is you don't have it set up so that you can see the branch name on the terminal, which is maybe not if you're using
I
Ruby.
don't normally. I'm not.
You're not a
I
terminal person. You use Ruby on Rails.
normally I do this for most of my stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'll. So which issue are you?
So it should be like a. I mean, it's interesting that it says there. That's kind of. I'm sort of surprised by those names. I mean, the branch that I pushed is
Oh,
like
it's upstream. Sorry, not it's not origin. It's upstream down here.
832 events index page revision.
There we go.
So if you're, you can even just refresh the events page if you've still got the server running.
I think I shut it down. Oh, it's still.
Yeah, I just hit reload on the events page, and we'll go back to the events page. Yeah.
Just a bunch of these rack timeouts. I don't know what it does that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you're getting there. Those are the times that. So that's presumably that's a test event that you created, or just some different test events. And that
Yep.
one says test 10 a.m. and you've got like from 3:14 MST. Is that what you would expect it to be? Do you want to try actually maybe try creating a new event?
Let me make a new one. Let's see. So test 1300 UTC. I need to. Oh, here's another one. Well, okay, it's 30. Okay. This wasn't obvious to me. when I went to go create event, it's obvious now that I see the 30. When I went to go create the event, I tried to put like 1.5.
Okay.
It wasn't obvious to me that
That
this
was
is.
hours or minutes. Okay.
Well, it's obvious now that I see the 30, but I didn't actually look at the 30. I just
No,
selected it and
sure.
started typing.
Yeah.
And actually, this is different than what's on our page. How is that possible?
Well, this is
Maybe it's my browser. It might be my browser.
or the branch or who knows. But yes, I think there's there's an issue there. This is a. I'm going to put this in as event show page duration.
It's fine that it's minutes. I would put in minutes.
Yeah, we could just put brackets afterwards, and yeah. Anyway, go ahead and create the event. Okay, and back to the.
That should be, yeah. Well, if we got rid of the drop down anyway, then it got rid of it. But that events, when you click events, it should just go to the
absolutely
events.
Okay, yeah. So so 30. So having created one in UTC time, it's at least showing you when it would be in. Is that Mountain Standard Time? Yeah.
No, let me change my time zone. I don't want to be a mountain.
Okay.
Okay. And if I reload this, yep, it changed times to 7:40.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
Well,
go on.
Okay. No, that's fine. I didn't actually adjust. I must not have adjusted the time on the new event page. That's fine. That's what time it is now. So.
Cool. Well, that's what time it is now. I mean, it's coming up to 1300 UTC. Did you? Oh, you set it for like. 20.
I didn't set it correctly.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's right. Yes, but that certainly seems to be working. I mean, I guess the interesting things would be on my mind are one to to know whether all of the tests pass locally for you, just out of interest. We've got them passing on my machine, and I think also on the also on the CI. Yes, they were. Let's have a look.
Yeah, you saw my comment on this was.
Yeah, you had a couple comments on just changing the layout slightly. Yes, I mean, do you want to just go ahead and do that here, and show me what you mean you would change there?
I would just to you can't see my finger shrinking it down, can you? just to like shrink this down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, well, do you want to go straight into the CSS and do it? I mean, should we do it? And you could even push this back to the branch, and we'll get it done.
I have to see what in the world we even have to change. I'm not.
I can help guide you to those locations. You were saying, I was just looking at what were you saying? You were saying you would shorten the description or reduce the left padding slightly to bring the description to 2 lines. Yeah. So if you go into the code. Basically, that description thing, it's not in a partial. If you go into the views in the so views events index.html.erb. So I've kind of and I've even pulled stuff. Is this the right thing? I think. Yes. I mean, there's some cleanup to be done here. But I think you can probably find that it says event description truncate, and it's got 148 on line 34. So that's at the moment it's truncating to 148 characters, I believe.
40.
So you could reduce that number and see what changes. And then you were saying reducing the left padding on the you meant on the description itself.
Right. Well, what I was thinking was if you didn't want to, although we do have an oddity here. Why is this one bigger than this one, or is that one just my eyes?
I think that's just your eyes. I think the test. I think it's got the capital letters in the top of the thing there. But what it does have is from my preference, there's too much padding at the top.
Yep. I don't know that too.
But I have failed to be able to get rid of that. If you look at the events CSS thing in the assets, I'll show you the CSS that I was playing with to deal with this. So yeah, style sheets. There's components. Is that the components? No, global. I think. Yeah, global. So if you go to events, Now, basically, originally, if you scroll down, originally the event row was just a default kind of row class, which was actually is the same class as the I think like the navigation bar, and it was inheriting weird styles. I created there on line 88 an event row, and this is after a while of, given that there seems to be, there is some, it extends .row, and I think whether it's a row or whether it's the H3 heading that I'm using, the somehow that title is getting like extra padding at the top, and I tried using like negative padding here to kind of on the left hand side to, was it on the, no, on the top, but then that had like weird side effects and so on, whatever, and I was just like, okay, in order to get this done, you know, and be kind of generally okay, I will just move on. But
let's see where it's coming from. We should be able to tell using Firebug where it's coming from.
Yeah, I was
sort of. Looks like it's this, whatever this is.
I think
it's this div.
Is it the div or is it the? It's.
I think it's this div. I don't think it's the row. I think it's the actual div.
Well, it was there before I added that thing. Interestingly. Because that's, I mean, in order to make the this event is live thing show, I kind of inserted another sort of rowy thing in there, but I would, was there not something, were you talking about changing the amount of padding on the description before?
Right, this one right here. I actually, it might not be, it might be padding on the time that's actually
well, and I think I had it so that I tried it with like, because basically those two things are divided into like, you know, it's using the bootstrap column layout, and I found, I think on one less, that it was tending to overlap. So that's just, you know, kind of, it's maybe more space than we need there, but it's, yeah, it's not really controlled by padding. It's controlled by that, you know, number of columns that we allocate to the different things.
And why didn't that do anything? That's odd.
But anyways, I mean, what I would say there in some ways is you know, you could feel free to play around with that in your own time and push things into the pull request, like you know, and effectively we would asynchronously pong on that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, this is odd. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, and it's the kind of thing I was kind of like, I wanted to get something, you know, and you know, I could have delved down a bit deeper, and of course my CSS abilities are limited, so I'm probably not as effective at debugging CSS as some other people. So I thought but from your point of view, then in like, I guess from the screenshots that you're seeing that I put up in the pull request and what you're seeing there, you think this is kind of okay?
Yeah, I think this is fine. My one suggestion would be to cut this description down a little bit, because I think it's better with the 2 lines.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
it looks odd to me that they're all kind of going onto that 3rd line.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say let's just cut the line and put it in like that, just to get something out there, and then create an issue, and somebody with more CSS knowledge can come back in and have a look at the CSS.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I might go ahead and do that. I guess the 2 questions on my mind at the moment, one thing I just put in the retrospective document, is whether to squash all the commits down into a single thing. And I guess maybe that is the way to go if we're holding ourselves to a higher standard on this project. Did you have any strong feelings about, you know, like squashing commits versus not squashing commits?
I don't, but I saw somebody, I saw a pull request get rejected for that reason on a project the other day.
Because the commits were squashed?
No, because they weren't squashed.
Right.
The owner said, "Hey, what in the world is this? We can't figure out what in the world you did, because there's like 20 different commits in here."
Right.
How do you even do that? I don't. I've never
Oh,
even.
well, I could maybe show you. Right. Well, that's an interesting thing. Maybe I could show you how I would. Maybe I will do that
Might
now.
be something good to put onto the wiki there somewhere.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think it's absolutely. Let us in the first instance. Maybe we'll just record ourselves doing it. All right. So again, so this is a situation
Okay.
where if you make sure that the recording is locked onto me, what I can do locally is I can just change the thing that you were suggesting there, which is to reduce. Oh, I thought it was 148, but it's 140, right?
Yeah, it's 140. I took it down to 120, and
Yeah, yeah,
it seemed
absolutely.
to be perfect.
Yeah, and then since I've got the screen here, let's just do it. I don't need that page anymore. I don't think. Well, let's go. Where are we? Look, it's 3,000 events. And then my next question was what to work on next was I guess I've got these different. There's the documentation effort. There's cleaning up the junk in the RSpec and the Cucumber log, and there's making the JavaScript tests more
Oh,
stable.
speaking of which, you wanted me to run the tests.
Oh yeah, why don't you? That's a good thing to do. Yeah, why don't you kick the tests off in the background and just see if you run into any strange issues there. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today because well, and it's interesting also that as oh well, give me brain in order. Did you have a chance to look at the little Agile Ventures document thing that I wrote, the visiony, like about?
No.
No,
I
oh no,
can do that
not to
now.
worry. No.
Um,
I mean, just that's not a problem. I'm just like working out which piece of information to pass. See here, this is like locked up for me as well, actually, for some reason. But yeah, in the past, the way we were running Agile Ventures is I was operating as a sort of a non-technical client, and Thomas was the original project manager. Then it was Brian, and then Raul, and so on. But I wasn't getting involved in the technology at all, or at least very rarely. And oh, here we go. Yeah. So this is the yeah, with that smaller. I guess what I'm tempted to do here is I now feel partly because we've got this higher one here. I'm just tempted to introduce to make the I don't know at all what I want. I want the margin on the bottom to be slightly higher. But so today is the first, with this thing that I've done here, this is the first time I've really taken a hands-on, okay, I want to try and get in there and fix this kind of thing. And it's gone reasonably well, and I feel quite pleased about it. I think there's lots of, and it's done the margin, no, it's done the wrong place. Oh, that should have been padding, shouldn't it? Not margin. But I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Thank you for sharing my journey. It's like calling for like how long does it take this to load and compile the CSS before I
is it doing anything?
Yeah, it has made them slightly bigger. I mean, what I should have done, of course, before doing that 2 times is gone straight in here and got into this and got on the event row, and I can go in here and I can see that this is the thing. But I can actually show you here. I was thinking, so this is like the top padding, right? Which we agree is too high. But and I thought, oh well, I'll just override it backwards. If I take it down to negative, suddenly we lose the left padding. Did you see? Which I don't know what that's doing. But so here, this is we have got that gives us more padding at the bottom. I guess does it look better like this?
See, I'm not sure it's the padding of the box. I think it's the padding on that inside element. Click on that inside element.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. I mean, I think that given that we have given that we have unpleasant padding at the top that we don't want, I think it overall looks better. I mean, actually, the padding here is not too. But anyway, I think 20 there maybe looks better on the bottom to give it a bit more space. Maybe it could be 15, but yeah, in terms of here, like these different things,
Yeah, like what's the computed? What's that? See how it has the.
So this, it's like, yeah, it's this div, but it's also, I think there's this div, this row. See, that's like 63 pixels. That's 63 pixels there. It's got margin left minus, this is, because the thing that we had before is that this wasn't fully, like, at least now all of these things are inside the container that they're there. And then,
What
so
if you add a padding to that? Add padding 0 on the top of that div.
what I did, which div?
The
This one?
pure awesomeness. Yeah.
That one. Will that, like, so if I add a, I hate that. Come on. Tab, yes, right. 0 pixels.
Didn't do anything.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I
Not
think
sure.
you know, no, it was no. To be honest, it was there before I added this and this, and I think it's associated with, now was it with this H3? What's that? See that? I think that, see that orange. I think it's the padding on the H3. See, look, here you go. Look, margin top 20 pixels. Turning it off does not change things.
It changed something.
It changed something, didn't it?
It
Somewhere.
changed the one below it. What did it change? Oh, the header, the title.
That one there, yeah.
It didn't change. Are you sure you're in H3? Or well, that's all of them. H3, H2.
Yeah, it's all of them. So it's kind of doing that. I mean, I think in principle, see, but it looks like it there. We've got 10, and then there's 20, and I think these other boxes are just wrapping around it. But so I mean, I think it's interesting. We've got like H3 and then .H3. There's like 2 of them appearing in there. I don't know if that's but so that's in like events and then application CSS. So if we look at assets, style sheets, application CSS. Oh, H3. Have H3. Footer, landing bar, nav bar. Is that maybe coming in from? That's funny. Oh yeah, that's coming in from Bootstrap. So that H3, thing there is a.
I thought we just decided that wasn't it.
Oh, changing that didn't seem to make it go away, but it makes sense to me that it's somehow related, because, as I say, like the fact that I've got this row here now and these 2 sub boxes which are like these div things, I still have this padding problem, for that. I mean, I think if the way I would test it is if, rather than giving this as an H3, if this was bold instead. Yeah, see?
That actually looks. That actually looks good.
Oh yeah.
The orange, and just increase the size a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, so rather than using H3, of course, this. See here, and I want to call it event title. What are the semantic H3? Are there semantic? What have we got? It's a HTML semantic elements. There are like certain. Let's. What are the ones? Do they have title? Yeah, basic element.
Title of the document. I don't think you want that.
But the inline text semantics. What's this? This end up being. No, title of the document. I just wonder, is there's something like the equivalent of nav? Like I would use a div. I'm just wondering, is there something in here? I guess it should be a span really, rather than.
There's a span. I think there's a bootstrap class to make the text a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay. Da, 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 da.
I thought there was. Text. What is it? Text small. Text larger.
This formatting.
No, it looks like it only. I could have sworn there was one. I guess not. You can make your own class.
Yeah. Yes, I just look here. So we've got this. We'll make that a span, and then give it a class equal to, which is event title. I guess some question there of does it end up? I guess we'll just inspect there. Where does it get that orange from? And that's from.
I don't know, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. It's coming in from. I guess that's a. I mean, that's a bootstrap. Is it there? Let's have a look. Where's it come from? Oh no, global custom. Just because because it's a hyperlink. It's a hyperlink. So, in principle, you would there. That's there like that. So if we, I don't really want application anymore. We go back to event. Yeah. So we've got event row, event notice, event schedule. Let's put it in. Color. Event. Event title. So we want text style. Oh, just text. Yeah, text. How do we do bold without saying bold? Is it text weight?
Emphasis.
Bold. Yes.
I saw a text emphasis on there. Is that it?
What did you? Font weight. Font weight bold. Font weight bold. And what we want is a little bit of, I think, padding or margin. I don't know. Let's just do. Okay. Thinking about it. There we go. I think we need more. So this is a situation where I should definitely go in here. Let's put. Yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of color in there, isn't it? Go on.
No, I say it looks like it's pushing through the top of the.
I think you're right. Is that probably because it's a? Yeah, you're right. It's probably because it's a span.
So we could a span instead of a div.
We could change it to a div. The other thing would be to do is adjust the display type. There we go. Yeah, no, that's too much, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, so and I should just dial those down. Let's go in there. I mean, it could be a little bit large. The text could be a little bit larger, couldn't it?
Yep.
So we're in here. That's the div there. Can you dial that down? Yeah, those could both be on 5 easily, and we don't need the extra weight on the bottom anymore.
You just have to set the.
Oh,
Oh, nothing. I was trying to see. It looks like you set font size. You can do like font size colon like 1.2 EM or large.
okay.
You can actually set it directly to a number.
Okay.
Or you
Is that? I mean, this is interesting. I am not aware of what is the best thing to do with.
No, I just Googled it.
Oh, okay. Is it suggesting that that's like a better or worse thing to do?
I think you have more. Well, I mean, it's a catch-22. I mean, if you set it to large, I think it's.
Is that interpreted differently by different browsers?
Possibly, or somebody changed it. I mean, that looks fine right there.
Yeah, that's not looking too bad, is it?
Is that large or?
That's large.
Yeah, I assume that's large is defaulted to something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Probably 1.2. That's what it looks like.
I mean, I think that the interesting thing is what I would prefer is that the entire thing was clickable rather than just the title.
You can make the div clickable. Can't you make the entire div clickable?
I think we probably can.
Thing?
I think we probably can. I think I probably won't try and do that now. Actually, I was going to look at, because in the existing events page, let's see, where is clickable? Yeah, actually, no, it's just the title again. So,
what's the rake CI? Is it rake CI :spec for that other one?
The Jasmine one? No, yeah. It's rake Jasmine :CI, I think. So everything passing for you.
The cucumber and the spec did.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Jasmine will only take a second.
Yeah. I'm almost there on wanting that to be a little bit bigger, that text.
Yeah, everything passed.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay, here you go. What about this? Yeah, I think I like that. I think that size is working well for me.
What'd you increase it to?
Extra large.
Extra large.
I mean, I think we could play around with the padding, but maybe I will stop there. So, and in terms of squashing these commits, so here I'm in this situation here. So I've got a series of, if we do, like here, I've got a series of, I've got 3 commits there, and I've got some new things as well on top of it. So one thing I can do here is I can do like git -add -amend, like that, and that allows me to have the last commit. If I just do, basically, I now have I've added those changes to this last commit. I've got these. If I want to squash these 3 down, what I can do, I can get replace -I develop, I think, yeah, and it gives me these three commits like this. And so what I want to do here is work out. So I've got these 3 commits, and so squash but milled in the previous commit. But what I'm going to do is, if I switch to the right node, squash these 2 commits down like this, and then say this is this will now be alternate events page, index page layout, and that's all it is. And so the other things, which is like playing around with the styling, removing the view spec, it all becomes a single thing. And then if I just do this, it'll Right. And so now it gives me this thing. Oh, I did pick rather than, okay. So now I need to do, what is it? Is it DD to delete a line? Yeah. I should have done the word rather than, and then, okay, so just say this is out, escape. Okay, but now if we look at, I find the now we've changed those 3 commits into a single commit. You see that all right?
Yep.
And then what I need to do is I need to git push minus f origin 832 like that. And so what that should do, I mean, probably apart from introducing all sorts of bugs that because I'm running the test locally, if we go and look at that in the pull requests over here on website 1, then we should now see that we only have 1 commit with all the code. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Depending upon it, definitely a little bit involved, and it can get pretty tricky with that git rebase thing, and it's definitely something I would say that could be extremely off-putting to people who are not so familiar with Git, even being very familiar with Git. I mean, I only recently started using this interactive rebase mode to do some submissions to open source projects that required the Gits to be squashed, and I definitely got stuck in some places, and it took a lot of support to break through those issues. And I think it would be, potentially very off-putting to novice developers. But so I guess what I've got to do now is I've got to update these. I should be changing this. This is I should get the new let, so it's now like this. No, let's do it with the top on it. Okay. So edit this. Okay. So just say revised version of this is the events index page. Get so much on that. For layout. With the comments. Save that. Labels, alternate events, index page layout. And then, so there's other thing, which, I mean, I was, I would have been all ready to just completely drop this functionality because it's new functionality and maybe it was going to cause a problem or what have you. But, oh, no, wrong thing.
What you're going to drop?
Well, I was all ready to drop the functionality that we have here with this, that it's telling us that the event is now live. That now look, could do with some more padding, but anyway. But I was actually able to move it around, and the tests all still passed, and just managed to make the whole thing kind of a single pillbox. And so I was kind of like, oh, okay, that works. I wondered, how do you think about this? Looks a little bit cramped now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little big, I think.
This thing.
Yeah.
The button. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure if we actually need it.
How else would you join?
Sorry, say again?
You have to go into it to join it?
If you want to simulate that, basically you need to go to the individual event and then edit the Hangout link and add just some link. And then for like 2 minutes, that will appear. And I'm not entirely sure why it's there.
Wait, I'm confused.
Go on. What's up?
Go back to your page. What?
This one.
So so you're telling me that the live events only stay there for like 2 minutes, and then where do they go to past events?
No, I'm just saying that this little box only appears here for like a couple of minutes for some reason. And I only say that happens because I've noticed that that's what happens. I'm not saying that that's how it should be. That like basically there's sort of a 2-minute window during which.
How would, if you remove that box, how would you join the event?
Oh, then you would click on it and then you would click join event here.
I would definitely say that we should keep that. We should keep the link on there, but it should stay there as long as the event's live.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I don't think it needs to be a pillbox. I think just a.
Well, when I was saying pillbox, I was referring to the wider thing, not this thing itself. Yeah, that could totally be smaller.
I don't even think it needs to be a. The event live join now insinuates that it's clickable. I think it could just be a clickable link instead of an actual button.
Well, I think what I would say there is, because it's coming up for my lunchtime, is I'd say by all means, you know, play and change and push. I mean, I think I agree with your point. The 2 minutes thing is kind of an artifact, and I'm not even sure about that. And then, you know, this, you know, all I was doing was just sort of moving it so that it still was visible for clicking on, so the tests work and right. It, you know, actually appears right. Because before, you know how Thomas had it set up so that it had this big space underneath here and underneath here where this would appear in, which I think was a very poor use of space. But yeah.
Why does it have like the orange around it?
I don't know. That's how it was. You know, originally it was. I mean, if we look at it, I haven't got it now, but
I think it's fine though. I think it's fine the way it is. I'd say just create a. I'd say let's just create a new issue to go back and revisit that button.
I think yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Yeah, so I guess we'll do that on. Anyway, so this is now. Have I now updated both of these things? I've updated that one. That one doesn't look updated. Is that because the page isn't refreshed? Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay, so this, and then let's just have a look at the details. Has this failed? Yeah, it's failed on. So, okay. And the fact that this is failed again, I'm starting to think that the highest priority next thing is for me to go in and deal with these flaky JavaScript tests, which are just going to be confusing for everybody.
Why did?
Go on. Second.
It didn't fail for me.
And it doesn't fail for me locally. These are. I think we have a few JavaScript tests. We have the same in the local support project that are a bit sensitive to the timings with which they run. Yeah. So at the moment, I would say we are basically, you know, 1 build in 3 on the CI will fail.
Huh.
I mean, I'll also just check a run here that we haven't introduced something else, but I think that's definitely, that directs my, you know, next occasion. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Right. Well, that was good to do that. I think I'm gonna maybe wrap up for lunch, and you probably need to get on with your own things. But yeah, thanks for your help there.
Okay, I don't know that I helped too much, but
yeah, well, yeah, you did. I mean, it was very, you know, I think there's you know, I think we created a number of UI issues and we got them into tickets, and then you know, you did, I think, checking that it worked locally on your side, seeing that it working with the time zone for you, I think was all was all the valuable steps in the right direction, and also to see your working setup and so on is kind of cool. And yeah, that's good fun.
All right, I guess I'll pop off and do work.
Yeah, I know. It sucks to have to do that work thing. Yeah, and but yeah, absolutely. Do I'll be very interested to look at any pull requests that you push up, or new issues or comments.
Yeah,
that you
let
have
me
in
get
code.
the get the backend code for that working, and I'll do a pull request on that time zone selector.
Cool. Look forward to it. Nice one. All
All
right.
right.
Have a great day, Michael.
All right. You
I'll
too.
see you soon. All right. Bye
All
for
right.
now.